All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Terence Crawford's team responding to Jermell Charlo, after Jermell Charlo basically tells him, man, you better sit down, shut up, and go fight Errol Spence, or I'm gonna knock you out. Man, this is really, really fun stuff. Let's talk about that in this video. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. We are going to talk about the 147 and 154 pound division. Jermell Charlo, I don't remember what Iron Man Charlo, that's what his name is. Jermell Iron Man Charlo and Terence Bud Crawford, and a good healthy boxing back and forth that boxing fans can enjoy. But before I get into that though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber or a recent subscriber, thank you guys so much for the support. And if you are not subscribed, accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified, and make sure you hit all notifications so that you can get and be told when we release more videos. Also, if you wager on sports, make sure to support us over there at busr.ag/Fanon. With our betting partner BUSR, we have constant promotions running over there that'll help you get extra value for your wagering dollar. All right, so let's get into this. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, Jermell Charlo, who is the 154-pound WBA, WBC, and IBF world champion, gave an interview to one of the best boxing podcasts on the air, Brian Custer's podcast, and basically talked about a variety of things, some related to his upcoming fight with Brian Castano, other things related to Canelo Alvarez, and one conversation specifically, he gets into a conversation about Terence Crawford and whether or not he would fight Terence Crawford, and what does he think about Terence Crawford having said that he is considering moving up to 154 pounds to challenge him. Well, the response to that was absolutely comedic, classic stuff. If you've not seen the interview on Brian Custer's podcast, make sure you go do it. But absolutely classic response, basically telling him, look, man, you got all kind of stuff that you can be doing over there in the 147-pound division. People making their name in that division for themselves. Thurman, Garcia, Ennis. You know, you need to sit down and do something over there. Humble yourself. What do you say about Errol Spence Jr.? Humble yourself. Humble yourself. Be the challenger. Accept what they give you. And, do what you got to do in the 147-pound division. Don't be trying to come up around these parts, because I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to knock our artists, right? Classic stuff, man. One of the main reasons I like Jermell Charlo, man, he's not going to, first of all, the dude is super animated, is always looking like he's ready for a fight with somebody, man. But at the same time, he carries that attitude that he has in the interviews and in the press conferences. He transitions that into the fight and is going for broke trying to get these dudes in a fight as well. So absolutely love Jermell Charlo as a fighter, man. Hilarious stuff. Well, last night, Bernie the Boxer, who is in Terence Crawford's camp and is a very reliable source for all things Terence Crawford, basically said, let's make it happen. Bud Crawford says, let's make it happen. And I love it, man, because that's pretty much telling you that Terence Crawford is like, look, man, Terence Crawford, I do believe, is the type of dude that will take a challenge and will seriously believe that he can beat Jermell Charlo, and isn't the type of dude that you're going to tell him he can't do something, right? So I think Jermell Charlo having his outburst and clowning Terence Crawford is going to make that fight that much more likely to take place. Now, Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford is a fight that everybody wants to see. We've been talking about it for years, right? And I'm not one of these guys that are telling you that either one of these guys are ducking each other. These guys have been progressively fighting fighters. They've stayed in the same weight class. Nobody's gone up in weight class. Errol Spence has had a car accident. He's had a torn retina, but at the same time as unifying 3 of the major belts. And so I certainly hope that the Errol Spence Jr. fight happens next. I want the Errol Spence Jr. fight, but I'm going to tell you right now, man, I've been watching boxing for a long time, and I ain't turning my collar down at nothing. Seriously, if I can get a good fight, if I can get Terence Crawford in a good fight, him fighting Jermell Charlo with 154 pounds, and I can't get the Errol Spence Jr. fight, I'm gonna tell you right now, I would take it. And honestly, I do think that it is a way that if they cannot work out the fight with Errol and Terence at 150 and 147, that it could be made at 154, especially if Terence Crawford is an undisputed champion at 154 pounds. But just in and of itself, if you take Errol Spence Jr. out of the equation, which I understand is very hard for a lot of people to do, but if you just take him out of the equation and you say, look, man, what really good fights are there out there for Terence Crawford? You can't name two fights better than for Terence Crawford than Jermell Charlo. First of all, it would be something that where Terence Crawford would be going for a championship in his fourth division. He's at 135, 140, 147, and going up to 154. You can't complain about what that man wants to do and say that that's not something that is a legitimate feat, right? Even the fact that he's calling out Jermell Charlo, somebody that much bigger than him, somebody that if he gets past Brian Castano with a clean out of division, that ain't nothing but credit to Terence Crawford for trying to move up there and do that. And I'm telling you, Terence Crawford is the skill level, is the talent level by all signs, and everybody's saying it, where he could do something like that. So, I wouldn't besmirch that man, the ability to move up there and really do something that can set himself apart from a lot of other fighters. And note, I purposely did not use the phrase that he'll go up there and he'll make history, because he wouldn't be making history to the extent that nobody has ever done that before, going up 4 weight classes and became the man in the weight class. Roy Jones Jr. did it. Floyd Mayweather Jr. did it. I wouldn't count Manny Pacquiao's having done it. Oscar De La Hoya did it. Whole bunch of other people have done that, but it does put him in that category as somebody that you got to put in that Hall of Fame, and you got to get that man's credit for doing it, right? So for me, him saying, yeah, dude, I would move up there and go after him, and for them still to be saying it, that ain't nothing but credit to Terence. That ain't nothing but credit to Terence Crawford. Nothing but credit to Terence Crawford, and definitely deserves it. It deserves the opportunity, right? If he cannot get the fight with Errol Spence Jr. Now, I know that he wants the Errol Spence Jr. fight. Errol Spence Jr. wants that fight, and hopefully that fight will happen. So, but anyway, as far as Jermell Charlo goes, dude, Jermell Charlo would be, if Terence Crawford moved up there to fight him, dude, that could be Jermell Charlo's Mikey Garcia moment, man, right? Where you, for the first time in your career, you get to be on a pay-per-view against a guy that is, a pound for pound dude moving up in weight. And, you can beat the little dude up, man, if you can pull it off. You know what I'm saying? If you can pull it off, because that little dude right there ain't nobody easy to beat. So, but I'm just loving it, man. And I like the fact that Terence Crawford, at least through the words of Bernie the Boxer, didn't back down on it and didn't back down off of it. It's like, nah, man, I'm still willing to go with it. You know what I mean? But anyway, man, I like the conversations going on at 154 and 147. I talk about Terence Crawford a lot, Errol Spence Jr. a lot, Jermell Charlo a lot, man, because this is the division where I really do think things are going right in boxing. Jermell Charlo has fought everybody at 154 pounds. Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, even though that fight has not happened yet, these guys they fought some of the same people in the lead up to the fight, and they've been giving us exciting fights and honestly something interesting to talk about in boxing, because it's not one fan base just saying, oh no, Terence Crawford just needs to go away, do something else, or Terence Crawford's fan base saying Errol needs to go away and do something else. It's something where these guys are actually still working towards making good fights. And Terence working towards making an Errol Spence Jr. fight and working towards making a Jermell fight, man, ain't nothing but credit that man can get from me. But anyway, that's my take on the situation. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.